we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Tuesday, July 12th, 2022, and this is episode number 376 of a show that provides insight and tools to build the life and homestead of our dreams. All right, so today we've got a family episode coming up, but I'm not sure if I can actually, well, I am sure. The reality is I can't get the intended family episode up in a timely manner this morning. And it's important to me that I get back to doing this in the mornings, that I get back to doing this with some consistency, that I get back to doing this and make this show a part of my routine, because quite frankly, my life was better when it was. And it's been an interesting past month where we've come through, the show's gone through a bit of transition, guys. For those of you who are new listeners, and for those of you who are infrequent listeners, and quite frankly, for those of you who are listeners on the regular, it's been it's been a unique couple of months. First of all, 2 months ago, I left my job. I became an attendee, if you will, and participated in a phenomenon known as the Great Resignation. I'll see if I can link to that article in the show notes, but the reality is, guys, I've got to get this uploaded, and then I got to get to work in the kitchen because I spent too much time farting around with what I was trying to do with the recording, and I'll get to that in a minute, the interview with mom and dad. But I'll try to listen to this, link to what I spoke about in the show notes. But initially, once this goes up this morning, this stuff won't be there. So yeah, 2 months ago, I quit my job. 2 months ago tomorrow. And, I didn't know what to do. So I took a little bit of side work, kept myself busy, and started working the 48 days plan. And then I was working and I felt like I was approaching a point of burnout. I was very healthy though. I really felt like I was functioning on all 8 cylinders, but I was putting in long days, and I don't know what happened, but a number of things happened actually. I got sick, but I also decided to go cold turkey on tobacco, and that was something I'd never done before. And I'd like to give a shout out to Scramblin' Brian Norton for the encouragement to man up and go cold turkey. That is the only way to do it. I am now a proponent of this. I've tried the nicotine gums. I've tried the on pouches. I've talked at great length about this in the past with my methodologies on how to beat tobacco addiction. But the best way and the only way to do it is, quite frankly, to go cold turkey, pull that trigger, and knuckle down. And that's a big part of why I just kind of went dark over the past few weeks. Once I made the decision to take action with the show and take it in a dedicated direction where we will have a rotation through 7 different topics of life, financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. By the time I made that decision and we started rotating through these topics back in June, it was shortly thereafter where I just went dark. And what I mean is, June 16th We had episode number 371 with how to budget with an irregular income. And that was a teaser into the Financial Peace University course that kicked off last night. And granted, had some technical difficulties. The course and the class did not really go as planned, but it's okay because it was basically just a high school friend and myself and someone else who dropped off midway through the class, and expectations weren't high, but I'm slightly disappointed in myself and how I delivered. So I'm going to have to think about, I thought we could do it in 40 minutes, but I may have to go ahead and just upgrade my Zoom account, and which will also be helpful for future interviews. And interviews is what we're going to talk about in just a moment with the family episode, which we did yesterday. But, like I said, back in June, financial episode number 371, how to budget with an irregular income, followed by a physical episode, episode 373, titled I'm a Liar and an Addict. And that was when I learned that the nicotine in these on pouches and the nicotine in gum, mints, all of these nicotine products, these anti-smoking cessation products, it's all derived from tobacco. It's not some synthetic derivative. It's just extracted differently, but it's tobacco. All right, let's not dance around that. So, all you're doing is changing out one addiction for another. And that was something that I've been dealing with over the past few weeks myself, changing out one addiction for another. But more on that later. Finally, when I jumped back into the game of podcasting, that was just a few days ago. Actually, quite frankly, it was yesterday, with an episode on personal development, an episode titled Roadblocks, and just an episode talking about exactly this, hitting that plateau, moving backwards in your journey, so on and so forth. But I also wanted to execute on something that's been talked about for quite some time, something that's been suggested to me time and again, something to provide some variety to the show, and something that I think is a great idea. And now that I have a little bit more time and a little bit more flexibility in my schedule, it's something that I am going to try to do and do more frequently, and that's interviews. I think I can pull off one a week. That doesn't seem unreasonable. So to get down with the next episode in the whole series of all around growth, these 7 different aspects that we've worked through with financial, physical, personal development already thus far, we've got family. So I decided that an interview with my parents would be the most appropriate way to get started with the interviews to kick off, this show, all around growth, at least how it is for me. So my parents and I had a great discussion yesterday afternoon. It was kind of weird. I'm not set up with equipment to actually sit around a table with them and have a discussion and interact with them normally. So we had a phone call. Dad was on one side of the cabin, Mom was on another side of the cabin, I'm out in the barn. It was kind of weird, but we made it work. The audio quality isn't that good. You'll hear a lot of hiccuping and cracking because I'm in the barn. A metal barn. But hey, it's the best that we've got. I look forward to continued discussions and continued episodes in the morning about all of these 7 topics. And tomorrow we've got one coming up on spiritual, and then Thursday we'll have something on the social part of our lives, and Friday we'll wrap up the work week with a topic on career. And that will be interesting because that is something that well, I'm trying to figure out right now. And Thursday may be an interesting, I'm just gonna have to get up early on Thursday if I've managed to square away some more side work. Thursday, doing some brush hogging on a tractor, which will be kind of nice. But anyways, guys, expect more episodes on a more consistent basis. You know, sometimes we go through these little periods where, I don't know, we experience life on life's terms. Something difficult happens. You know, we talked a lot about that yesterday in episode number 375 called Roadblocks. So if you want to get caught up with where we're at now, then definitely check out that episode. And look forward to catching you tomorrow on Wednesday, July 13th, where we talk about the spiritual aspect of our lives. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
In a world of pain, what can I do? The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe